Our doubts and fears stand in the way of building our self-esteem. But in this video, we're going to talk about how to use them as fuel for our self-improvement. And if you stick around until the very end, you will learn how being selfish can boost your confidence. Doubt your doubts. I recently read a memoir called Educated by Tara Westover. She wrote how her family's twisted beliefs influenced her perception of the world. Everyone in her family followed their dad's word, from what they should and should not eat to what they had or didn't have to learn. They were not allowed to go to public school or even ask for medical help. Imagine you don't have access to knowledge. You grow up only knowing black and white. You don't know all the other colors of life. If all women in your family are not allowed to work, you won't even dare go look for a job. You're frozen in fear and shame. Asking questions isn't encouraged. Luckily, Tara was able to seek help and gain knowledge. She began to reframe her mind. By doing so, she was able to gain self-confidence and a sense of self-worth. Everything I had worked for, all my years of study, had been to purchase for myself this one privilege: to see and experience more truth than those given to me by my father, and to use those truths to construct my own mind. Guys, Tara's story is incredibly inspiring, and if you want to read the whole book, I will leave the link down in the description. The point I'm trying to make here is that we're all shaped by our environment. More often than not, we're influenced by the limiting beliefs imposed on us. The things we're afraid of might be the things that somebody else is afraid of. Our doubts are somebody else's doubts. One person commented on my channel in favor of this idea. They said that different doubts can come from opinions of other people. The other source could be media as well. Hidden messages in movies, ads, and even fairy tales. We often see all of those too good to be true pictures, and most of the time they're just unrealistic. Hence the fear of being an imposter. The good thing is we can break free from our fears and doubts by continuously exposing ourselves to new knowledge. What Tara did was educate herself. She asked questions when she felt ashamed and embarrassed. She continued to seek explanations and proof and learned to trust her gut. As a practical exercise, I challenge you to research facts that seem undeniable to you and question the narratives you grew up believing. For example, if you were told that rock music is bad influence, learn more on this topic. If you think that you can only have a great career by getting a diploma, look for people online who managed to attain financial freedom without ever going to college. This practical exercise is something that I did 5 years ago when I decided to go vegan, because I didn't grow up being vegan. I believe that you have to eat meat. You absolutely have to. But then I decided to question those narratives. I decided to read good quality research and actually learn more on this topic. No one told me about that, but I am an adult now. And I can't just blame everyone. I can't blame my parents, I can't blame my school and say, yeah, they didn't teach me and that's why I'm the way I am right now. Of course not. You're an adult and it is your responsibility to find knowledge. What I'm saying is, I want you to doubt your doubts. Change your default response. I'd like to share an idea that many of us are aware of, but only a few of us can successfully apply. If you find yourself always saying yes to avoid conflict, chances are you're a people pleaser. Being nice and welcoming is, well, great. But it becomes a problem if you're being way too nice. First of all, someone can quickly take advantage of your kindness. Secondly, if you always focus on other people's needs, you're not going to get your needs met. Over time, you will transition from a nice person to a stressful person who is always displeased with themselves. How can you help yourself? I'm very grateful for this piece of advice I received when I first started growing my YouTube channel. It's not your job to make everyone happy all the time. Guys, if someone gets upset or offensive, well, they're grown-ups and they have to learn how to cope with their emotions, with their negative emotions by themselves. And we have to give them space to learn. You cannot parent your friends or parent your parents or parent your partners. This is not your role, and this is not how your relationship is built. A practical tip I give you is take some time before you say yes or no, And instead of saying sorry, say thank you. Develop a go-to phrase like, "Thank you for asking. Let me check my calendar and I'll get back to you. This week is hectic, but I'll keep that in mind when making adjustments." This will help you learn to set boundaries and priorities. And what I have noticed is when you try to set boundaries, many people start thinking that you are a mean person, even if you're doing it in a polite way. Because unfortunately, in our society, so many people are used to overstepping other people's boundaries. And many people don't even know how to set their own boundaries. And that's why sometimes when I try to set my boundaries, people tell me that I sound cold or I sound mean. I don't get upset because I understand that when those people tell me that, it's only their perception of the reality. I have my own perception of the reality, and I know that I'm being nice, I'm being kind, I'm just showing this person that these are my boundaries. And please don't overstep them. Another practical tip that can boost your confidence like no other is to analyze your behavior while you're comparing yourself to others. In most cases, we start doubting ourselves when we see someone else perform better than we do. On the one hand, it can give us a lot of motivation to grow. But on the other hand, we might go down the rabbit hole thinking, life sucks and I'm such a mess. While it's better to only compare yourself to your past version, and I talked about it in the past a lot, we're often triggered by certain people or images on social media. Let's say you envy someone else's career success. Instead of your default behavior of getting upset, try to collaborate with them. Why not ask for some tips, tools, and resources they use to grow? It's hard to resent someone who is about to help you, isn't it? When I start feeling jealous, and of course it happens to me too, I'm a human being, I immediately start thinking, what does this person have that I don't, that I really want to have? Because that's basically jealousy. You feel jealous because a person has something that you don't have, but you really want to have. In the past, I would feel jealous when other creators on YouTube would get more views on their videos than me. What did I want in that situation? I wanted more views on my YouTube videos. So I decided to learn from them, watch their videos, buy their courses, and see what strategies work really well for them and what I can implement on my YouTube channel. Scrolling through edited pictures on social media might lead to unhealthy comparisons. Plus, you never truly know what's going on the other side of the screen. Have you heard of social media detox? You can start small by limiting your daily watch time, or pick a day a week when you put your phone away. Something that I recently implemented is I try not to look at my phone when I just wake up, and I also try to not look at my phone right before going to bed. Because I know that in the morning, if I start staring at my phone on social media, responding to messages, it gets me very anxious. I feel like I have so many things to do, it's only the morning and I need to be quick, I need to start working immediately. And using your phone before going to bed can really mess up with your sleeping schedule. So that's why right now I read a book, and every time I choose a new book to read, I make sure that before I go to bed, I read something wholesome, something cozy, something cute, you know, not something that is gonna get me overstimulated. You can also start a gratitude journal, and it's something that I do before going to bed. I reflect on aspects of my life that bring me joy and inspiration, and acknowledge all the privileges that I have, like having parents, a job, and personal space. For you, it's going to be your own list. I think that gratitude journals are really fun. They already have questions inside and are designed to bring you peace and help you navigate through life. Start small and be consistent. At the end of the video, you will learn why taking action is important, why you should not shy away from what you feel. Let's explore a scenario where your environment is filled with supportive and unbiased individuals. In this environment, it's very easy for you to develop your skills because everyone is always supporting you for who you are, no matter what you achieve. There is nothing and no one to blame for the lack of self-confidence. Why would you still beat yourself up and feel like an imposter? There is an approach used in therapy called internal family systems therapy that sees the different parts within each of us operating just like families interact. If it sounds strange at first, think about it for a moment. Your friend says, "I found this power yoga class. You want to join me? And you reply, a part of me does, but a part of me doesn't. Who are those parts? Richard Schwartz suggests that our personality literally consists of little beings inside of us with their own thoughts and feelings. You will understand better what I'm talking about if you watch the movie Inside Out, where we learn that we need sadness to experience joy. Or maybe you remember this episode in The Big Bang Theory, where Sheldon talked to all the different versions of himself. Sheldon the germaphobe, Sheldon the scientist, Sheldon the boy from Texas, Sheldon the control freak, Sheldon the fun guy. The internal family system suggests that there is a core self which combines qualities of compassion, curiosity, confidence, creativity, and courage. And there are also parts of you who are protective, vulnerable, and reactive. Listening to those parts and analyzing them can help you build a better relationship with yourself and start regulating your emotions better. As a practical exercise, you can keep a mood journal. This is a safe space where you can process your negative emotions and feelings, and you don't need to show all of this to anyone. In the journal, you can let go of the feelings that you know are irrational and that make you feel uncomfortable. It is the practice that helps me a lot because I often get a lot of irrational thoughts, a lot of anxious thoughts, and honestly, sometimes I don't want to share them with anyone, even with my therapist. All I want to do is just write everything down on paper. This helps me understand what factors affect my mood and develop healthier coping strategies. And then when I'm ready for it, I can discuss everything in therapy. I think that the best relationship you can ever build is the relationship with yourself. Be vulnerable to be confident. Now I would like to talk about one of my favorite writers, Brené Brown. In her book, The Gifts of Imperfection, she writes about the courage to be yourself instead of trying to fit this perfect image. The courage to be vulnerable and let yourself be seen. You can gain confidence by showing up as you are. It is the only way to find people who you belong with. In the business world, there is this term confident vulnerability. Traditionally, we expect leaders to be strong, competent, and confident. But when a CEO admits of shortcomings and failures, the employees usually don't understand what's going on. They're like, okay, this is a new reality, what are we supposed to do now? In other words, it makes them think harder of what their leader is doing. See where I'm getting with this? Revealing something you feel might put you in the bad light might actually help with communication. It gives people a better understanding of how to deal with a common problem. Being vulnerable means being honest. Let me give you another example. You're embarrassed to admit that your work took you 6 hours instead of 2. The manager will know that you performed above average and that you're a great employee. Next time, you will receive a more complex problem to solve. Because the deadline is tight, you will feel anxious. Still, you'll be afraid to confess that you're not that efficient jack of all trades. You want to be someone who you're not, but that won't help you succeed. Accepting your real abilities and being courageous with everyone else about what it took you to solve this problem will give others a better picture of who you actually are. Your manager will be able to explore what type of work will suit you best and where you can benefit more by doing just as much as you can. Same thing with other areas of life. We try to be perfect so that no one criticizes us. We hide our mistakes or unwanted traits out of fear. The truth is, we have to do the complete opposite. When we're honest with ourselves and we embrace all the different parts of ourselves, we become effortlessly confident. So let's say your mind goes blank in front of everyone. So just say it, all right folks, my mind went blank. I feel very nervous right now. Could you please remind me what my last thought was? Own your imperfections. To quote Brené Brown, we must be as equally willing to face self-doubt and worth, control and gratitude, shame and play, fear and authenticity. The only exercise to be confident forever. Think of courage as a muscle. The more you exercise it, the braver you become. Ask yourself right now, what would I do if I were brave? What does my rational part tell me to do while the rational one is scared? Even though you may have the answer, you still have to execute that. You have to thank all of your doubts and fears for trying to protect you, but you no longer want to be in your safe zone. Something that I learned through listening to countless of stories of successful people is that all of them push through despite fear. They're all afraid sometimes. They acknowledge the fact that they have this fear, but they still do this thing that they wanted to do. They repeat their actions, and yes, sometimes they might feel doubtful again, but they still repeat their actions again and again. Van Gogh said, if you hear a voice within you say you cannot paint, then by all means paint, and that voice will be silenced. Whatever it is that you do, remember to always take action. Sometimes your action might be as simple as reading or getting your body to move. Sometimes it is sitting still and breathing. Sometimes it is speaking in front of an audience. It can be anything, but there is one thing that I believe is common for all of us. It is serving others. We all live in this help loop. Throughout human evolution, people who cooperated and supported each other were more likely to survive, reproduce, and pass on their genes. So in a way, we can all celebrate the fact that we're alive, that someone was smart enough to teach others the successes and failures they learned. Fast forward to this day, and the service mindset becomes crucial for the overall well-being of society. And now the most interesting part, a paradox. Osho Rajneesh, a great Indian philosopher, once said, "I want you to become absolutely selfish." Why do you think he said that? He suggested that because when we recognize all the joy we get from helping others, we're more likely to do nice things for people. So yes, in a way you're doing those nice things for this person, but you're also doing all of those nice things because you get so much joy from doing them. The more you help, the better you feel. The more you want to help again. This helps create a positive cycle of mutual support. Remember this movie, The Pursuit of Happiness? Chris had to make cold calls to get clients, bring coffee for the senior partners, park their cars, and a lot more things. Through giving service while continuously studying, his persistence eventually brought him success. Going through tough situations, he became tougher and more resilient. When you take action, there is no time to listen to your fears. You just do what you have to. So your final practical exercise is to take action. Notice how it feels, how you prove to be capable and proud of yourself. And sometimes we just need to be reminded of that. Another comment on my channel says, "Your video reminded me that I have to be more confident and believe in my potential." I hope this video was inspiring and reminded you to keep learning and discovering more things about yourself. Maybe you even want to write in the comments what action you're going to take. Thank you. If you're thinking about what to watch next, I highly recommend checking out this video on how to set your goals to achieve all of them. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you there.